Hello everyone, my name is Heather Autumn and welcome to my channel. Alright, so I've been doing a lot of activity and I wanted to kind of bring it home again. So today I'm going to show you two recipes. So lately I have been on a weight loss journey. I'm going to go into it more later, but the result is I've been eating 2 meals a day. So a really good breakfast and a really good dinner. And then one of the reasons I have been skipping my lunch is because I realized that oftentimes I just don't have time to eat. And so I'll cook something really quick that isn't necessarily good for me. So I just cut that out completely and it's been working really well. Like I said, I'll get into it in a future episode, but that's why I'm only going to show you 2 meals today as opposed to my normal 3. This morning I'm going to start off with a Salmon and Avocado Eggs Benedict. Alright, so for breakfast we're going to start in on making the smoked salmon eggs Benedict. And if you've made an eggs Benedict before, perhaps from one of my recipes, there's a certain way of building it, right? Now for this, I'm going to use a little bit of a changed Hollandaise sauce. It's healthier. It uses a little bit less butter and a lot more Greek yogurt. So the first thing we want to do is get our water on for a good simmer. That's going to be where we poach our eggs. And we're going to start in on our Hollandaise sauce. So for this, I did it a little bit out of order. I added in almost the entire container of Greek yogurt that's plain flavored. And then I did about 2 tablespoons of a lemon juice, which of course doesn't have to be fresh. And I also added in 1 egg yolk. And this is where I kind of got ahead of myself. So I had to add the butter and I added about 2 tablespoons of salted butter. Now because I use salted butter, you don't have to use as much salt and pepper, but you still want to season it. Be sure to taste it. It should be kind of lemony and tangy. All right, so from there you just want to cut up everything. I chopped an avocado and some dill. And then I got some capers ready because that's gonna go into our hollandaise along with the dill. And I got my English muffins in the toaster and toasted up. And then the assembly was really easy. So I put the smoked salmon on the bottom, followed by the avocado, which kind of made a little support for the poached eggs. So for the poached eggs, you want to stop the water before it becomes a full-on boil. You want to keep it at a simmer. I also added like a splash of white vinegar. I don't know if that does anything, but that's what I do. And from there, I added in my eggs. You can use the vortex method, which is where you stir it and you make a vortex. But for me, I've just found that slowly adding them from a little ramekin usually works pretty well. And you're gonna cook those for about 4 minutes if you want like a set white and a runny yolk. So once I put on the avocados, then I layered on the poached eggs and then I covered those in the Hollandaise sauce. Now on top of that, as a garnish, I put my dill as well as a few capers just to add some flavor. And I added my chopped tomatoes to the side. And that's just there to lighten the dish because it is a very rich dish. And the tomato kind of tones everything down and keeps it all balanced. And in the end, this is what you have. All right, so breakfast is served and here we have a bite. We have some tomato on there and salmon, as well as that great hollandaise sauce and the capers and the dill. And I'm gonna give it a try. When I look up like elegant or luxurious breakfasts, Eggs Benedict or a form of it is always on the top of the list. And it's because you can't fail. It looks elegant. This one in particular, I love the salmon, but then that tomato also kind of comes in and it just freshens everything up because otherwise it can be really, really rich. This was a very luxurious, well-presented Eggs Benedict. Of course, all of this is gonna be linked in my blog, which I'll link in the description below. So I'm gonna finish up this breakfast. Okay, I know this is gonna sound stupid, but I'm really, really proud and excited. I just saw this and I wanna show you guys. All right, so for those of you who know, I have a hydroponics garden. So this base part has water in it that's pumped up through the top. It waters all of my plants and the lights kind of act as like sunlight to feed them. So it's doing really well. I have like cilantro and I'm growing tomatoes and everything, but it's been kind of looking like a bush, like just this giant bush. And I thought I was being delusional, hoping that maybe a whole bunch of these weeds would make something. And then I was kind of just looking at it and I saw this little guy. It's one of my jalapenos. I am so freaking happy over this jalapeno. I'm happy. Last year I planted a whole bunch of like similar, and I guess I didn't give it enough time. It truly is looking wild right now. And I think I just got freaked out and I pulled everything because I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? But that just made me super happy. So I wanted to share that with you. All right, so it is dinner time and I'm gonna show you how to make shrimp creole. Now, this is a very flavorful dish. I feel like not only is it cheap, but it makes a bunch. You can freeze it and it's really flavorful. It's like everything you could want. And I'm gonna be posting this on my blog, but I actually got the recipe from this Betty Crocker Wedding Edition cookbook. And you can see it's a very well-loved book. And you know it's a very good book because it outlasted my marriage. And I kept it because there were so many really good recipes. And I was just like, well, the book didn't do anything. And so that's why I have it. And I'm gonna show you this recipe out of it. All right, so first and foremost for this recipe, you want to get your rice cooking. I have a rice cooker, but even if you do it stovetop, the one key thing I will always stress is to wash your rice. I've had it where people didn't wash it and it is disgusting. So don't do that. Wash your rice until it's clear and then cook it. I promise you, it changes everything. Okay, so starting this off, it makes 6 servings. And I'm gonna cook it a little differently because I actually wanna freeze these things. And the way I do that is by not putting in the shrimp. What we're gonna do is just make the broth, and then I'm gonna cook the shrimp separately and add it in. But let's say you have a huge family and you're gonna keep it in your fridge and you wanna add these in. What you're gonna do is thaw out 2 pounds of shrimp if they're not bought fresh. At this point, you're gonna wanna prep your ingredients. So you can chop 3 medium onions, but basically you're gonna need 1.5 cups. From there, you're gonna add in 2 medium green bell peppers, and all of this is finely chopped because it's kind of like a broth or a sauce. And then you're gonna chop 2 medium celery stalks. Now you're gonna add all of those things into a pot with 1/4 cup of butter or margarine. You're also going to add in 2 cloves of garlic, and of course, if you don't feel like chopping those, you can get them from a jar just like I did. So you're gonna cook your onions, your bell peppers, and your celery and garlic for about 10 minutes, and then add the following. You're gonna add in 1 cup of water, 2 teaspoons of fresh parsley, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. This is very hot pepper, it's usually red. 2 dried bay leaves, and 1 15-ounce can of tomato sauce. But you're gonna leave out your rice and your shrimp at this point. So you're going to increase the heat to boiling, and then you're gonna reduce the heat and let it simmer with the lid off for about 10 minutes. Now this is the point where if you're gonna freeze it, this is where you wanna take it off the heat, cool it down a bit, and put it in your freezer safe containers and label it and pack it away. That's what I did, and you can easily reheat it using your microwave or even on the stove. Either way, once it's thawed or you keep on cooking, you're going to stir in your shrimp, and you're gonna go and cook that for about 4 to 6 minutes until your shrimp are cooked through. Now, if you're reheating this separately, I actually like to cook the shrimp separate and then add it in, but that's just me. Remember to remove the bay leaves. I mean, unless you like to eat them like a savage, I guess. And you're gonna put this over your rice, and it goes well with a Chardonnay, and there you go. Dinner is now done. There is our shrimp creole, and this is the reheated kind too. I made it just so I could show what it looks like reheated. And so I cooked the shrimp kind of partially halfway, and then I thawed out the base of the creole, and then I mixed it kind of with the shrimp and let them all kind of cook the rest of the way together. And that's how it looks. It's so good, it smells amazing. All right, so I have a little bit of shrimp and the rice and the creole, so I'm gonna give it a try. has a very warm and comforting kind of taste to it. Of course, it has all the vegetables that we put in there, which is nice. If you've ever had curry, it's the same kind of feeling. It's like, it's hard to put your finger on, but it's just a very warm and happy feeling. So thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoy these recipes. So if you want to check them out yourself, just check the description below and I'll have everything linked there. All right, so thanks again for watching. If you like travel and food, this is your channel. So be sure to subscribe and I will see you next Sunday with a new episode. All right, bye.